John here with you from Freedom Farma. You can't see the F-A-R-M-A, but that's what it is, freedomfarma.com with an F. Freedom Farma is basically an idea. It's an idea to try to have an alternative to Big Pharma that, we not only bring out or emphasize some of the hypocrisies of Big Pharma, and the biggest of which is, got dual competing goals. One is to make money, which, let's face it, that's their job. And the second one is to try to potentially heal people. And what I'm trying to do is just get to an audience. And one of the things I've done a lot of is over my life, I started playing rugby when I was 25 years old, which really is old to start. As a matter of fact, first time I went, I didn't even intend to play. I'd been playing football at a relatively high level, and American football, Canadian football, and I wanted to actually just keep working out with a team of some sort. And so I called up a friend of mine who I knew had been playing rugby, and I found out that, oh yeah, you can play. But I said, well, look, I don't want to play. Too old to start. I just want to come out and run, practice, and I'll might watch a game or two or whatever. Anyway, so of course I go out and I'm practicing for a couple of weeks and learning about rugby. It was kind of neat, but I still had no intention of playing. Anyway, so of course, first game comes along. I thought I'll go out and watch. Well, of course, they're missing a guy, and the typical, anybody who plays rugby, you'll know for a while what happens. Okay, we need a guy. And John, you've been practicing. What the heck? Come on out and play. And so they stick you on the wing. Wing in rugby is, sort of as far away as you get from the ball normally. And the whole thing about rugby is possession of the ball. And it usually never comes out to the wing because we're not playing that well. I mean, the idea is to get it out the wing all the time by just passing it backwards. I don't know if you watched rugby before, but and then the winger is supposed to be the fast guy in the field, and he runs down and hopefully scores. Anyway, so first game, yeah, I guess I'll go in and play. Don't really want to, but anyway, before the game even started, and in rugby you start off pretty much the same as in football. You've got two lines of players, basically 10 meters apart, 10 yards apart, sort of thing. And then one team kicks off to the other before the game had even started. So in other words, nobody on the opposing teams can be any closer than 10 yards from each other. Well, I'm looking at the other wing, and I'm looking, all of a sudden, before the kickoff even happened, the two wingers on the other side are full hammer and tong into a fight. I'm like, how the hell you get into a fight before the game even started? Anyway, I thought, well, that's a pretty neat game. So, of course, I got through that game, and it was great. And I must admit, I love the game. I've always said, I think that if rugby was a sport that was played by all warring countries, there'd be no wars. You'd go to war on the field in rugby, and you'd settle your differences there. And after the game, you all go for a beer. And that was the great thing about rugby. And so, anyway, I ended up went on and played, if you can believe it, another 39 years consecutive. So I've broken everything. I mean, one thing about it, it's a pretty crazy sport. And, I've got, that's my straight finger on that side, and it's my straight finger on this side. And you can look at this shoulder is sort of separated 3 times, that one twice. Multiple broken ribs, broken arms. Anyway, but, it's the joy of playing. And the nicest thing about it is because it is like going to war. The game itself, it's 80 minutes. No stopping really, other than when the ball goes out of bounds or whatever. There's certain rules that can stop the play a bit. But you're not substituting in and out like hockey or something like that. You're just playing. And by the way, you might be wondering why I'm moving around like this. I'm actually getting a little exercise in a stationary bike that I'm on right now. It's starting to make me sweat a little bit too. But anyway, so a great game. I think we could really solve a lot of the world's problems if you had a couple of rugby teams and took it out on the field. As a matter of fact, World Cup of Rugby just finished. It was in France this year, and funny because I think the final game was South Africa beat New Zealand, and it was like 12-11. Really not much of a score. Matter of fact, I think they sort of messed up rugby a little bit by taking it sort of to such a high level. Rugby's always been an amateur game. As a matter of fact, for the longest time that I played, there was no such thing as professional rugby. There was, but it was not the 15-man rugby. It was 12. It was called rugby league, but now they've got it to the point where the 15s are they're getting paid when they're not playing on the Americans or on the World Cup teams. But anyway, it's a great way. Matter of fact, people don't realize that rugby is the second most watched sport in the world, which probably most Americans would, what are you talking about? What about football and hockey and all those things. Soccer's number one and rugby's number two, because it's played pretty much everywhere. So anyway, that's just a little bit about Freedom Farma and rugby. And, as a matter of fact, if you are interested in supporting our channel, go to the Freedom Farma channel. freedomfarma.com is our website. Freedom Farma channel on YouTube and Rumble. And, please support, like, share, and all the rest. And if you really want to support us, we've got a product called Immunate that is an oral dose of antibodies you can take every day, which means you can play rugby for 39 years. As a matter of fact, when I was playing, and all the guys I played with, they can attest to it, I was always the oldest guy by a long shot. And anyway, John here signing out before I fall off this bike. Thanks for listening, and check out freedomfarma.com. Thanks again.